We're live from Lollapalooza here on XRT. That was Alabama Shakes who played the festival on Friday. And we're joined by a gentleman who just finished playing like just moments ago, George Ezra.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good, good.
So how was your set affected by the evacuation?
Well, they call this the Windy City, don't they? It was windy. How was it affected? Pretty much I got cut down to half-hour set and I played by myself, which was a little bit of a surprise, but it was all good. I got a lot of practice doing that, so it's all fine.
Well, that's sort of how you played for us at the Live from Studio X performance. We did that morning back in the winter time.
Back when it was cold.
Back when it was very cold, and now here we are on such a hot, sunny, stormy
But it was
day.
beautiful. Do you know what? I can't thank the people enough for coming back and sticking with me, you know, for the solo set. It's, you know, I'll be honest, would I have preferred to have played with the band? Yeah, for everyone's sake, you know, because that's exciting for us. But it was very nice of them to come back.
Yeah. Well, you know, your story is really interesting in terms of how you developed your voice and how you started singing by listening to old blues records, basically. And here we are in this park, and we're just blocks away from Chess Records, where Howlin' Wolf laid down all those great sides that you listened to. That's pretty cool to be this close to it here in Chicago.
It's very cool. I'll tell you, as a tourist, as you might have guessed, the whole of America's kind of like that for me. Each little stop off, I can kind of map out the country by artists and labels and things like that I grew up listening to. I've made an effort on this tour to try and pick up a few vinyl from each city. So far, I haven't managed to in Chicago, but I'll do my best.
Well, you know, you've just really started touring the United States this year. You came here for the first time, right?
Yeah, really. Like, I came over once or twice last year, but it was just little promo things. And then, I've done a supported, and this is my second headline tour.
Yeah. Congratulations on all that. You know, we saw you play with Sam Smith, big show at UIC Pavilion, which I think was your first show in Chicago when you played.
I think it will have been.
Yeah, a large arena show.
Huge arena show, yeah. They've gone down a little bit since they're my own shows, but that's fine. Natural progression.
Well, but you did so well on that stage. And it was interesting, you know, playing with Sam and, you know, the story that we told when James Bay was here the other day that, you know, you guys did that gig together where you all played. And all three of you, James Bay, Sam Smith, and yourself playing here at this festival this weekend.
It's so funny you brought that up because I played with James last night in Toronto, kind of like a co-headline thing. And he said, you know, this is the first time I will have got to see you play since Chiswick, which was that gig in the pub. And I went, Jesus, you're right, you know, because you're both doing your thing, so you don't see people play at all. Festivals are a good opportunity, but on a whole, you don't.
No, not really. You're all touring in different cities at the same time.
Either that, or, exactly. You're like one venue behind.
Yeah. We're talking with George Ezra, live from Lollapalooza on XRT, who just got finished playing a shortened set here, but was kind enough to come over and chat with us. This may go longer than your set. I don't know. We'll see.
Probably.
So your album, Wanted on Voyage, as the story goes, as you've told, and a lot of people know, but maybe some don't, you wrote that while you were busking through Europe for the most part, right?
Well, I never busked. I was just there is a train ticket that allows you to travel for a month. I did one or two open mic nights, kind of open stages, but it was more. See, at that point, there was no demand for George Ezra, so I could disappear for a month easily. And that's exactly what I did. I disappeared, I took a notebook, and I just wrote down everything.
Yeah, and that's where the record came from that.
Yeah.
And in the song Budapest, that you know, has become such a big song for radio in general and for everyone here. It's been everywhere. That song, it's pretty interesting. You know, I know that you didn't go to Budapest. But I have a question because it's about what the song is about, and it's I would give up all these things for you, and one of the things is my house in Budapest. What's the real estate market in Budapest like? Is that actually a pretty good give up?
No, so the whole point was it's a list of things I don't have that I'll give up for somebody. Real estate in Budapest, I don't know. I imagine you get quite a bit for your money, but that would be me guessing. I don't know. Right. I'm the wrong person to ask about real estate.
So now that you're traveling the United States, are you keeping notes, keeping a journal like you have in the past? Is this something?
Do you know what I did when I was over with Hosier? I was over for 2 months, his tour and then my own, and I journaled that whole thing. And so what I do is I journal stuff, and then maybe 2 months later I read back over it. So I still haven't read over it. So we'll see what nonsense I wrote down.
Well, maybe it'll be your next record. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, this trip, I started to, and it kind of. The thing is, I don't push it. If at the end of a show I get into my bunk on the bus and I get my notebook out, then that's fantastic, and that's a natural, desire to do that.
Well, as you had a ticket to just travel around Europe, it certainly must have been easier to keep notes than it is when you're on a tour and there's so many demands on you.
Touring is phenomenal. Like, I love it. I consider myself very lucky being able to do it. But it's repetitive. So, I think a lot of people say, oh, it must be perfect, the amount you get to travel, But say it's a tour in venues, each day is get to the venue, load out, set the gear up, sound check, have a bit of dinner, play the gig. So often you don't get to see the cities, you get to see venues, and a lot of venues feel quite similar.
Sure. Yeah.
So I don't know what. I think the second record, people have started asking me about it already, which is cool, but I think it will take a little longer than I first anticipated. I think there was a lot more success on this record than I ever imagined.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for my own sake, I just want a little time to myself.
Right. And I think the success is continuing with this record as well. More songs are being played on the radio, and it's really great. What a great year you've had. Congratulations on it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So you got to play Lollapalooza, playing big festivals. Where do you go from here?
Where do I go from here? I go to Lincoln, Nebraska tomorrow. You laugh. I like it there.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. You've been there before.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. It's a great music city, actually.
Yeah, it seemed like there was a lot of cool stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a day off tomorrow.
Cool.
I tell you about today's festival. My guitarist was gutted that he didn't get to play the set. He said he'd grown up very aware of.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, it's nice, all of us had to adapt to the conditions here today, and you did for your sets, and we're so happy.
I felt very sorry for the crowd because I saw them all hunched up, like sardines in a tin, and I imagine that must have been quite nerve-wracking if you were in that.
Yeah. Well, luckily for us, it didn't last that long. Yeah. But thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to play a song from the Live from Studio X performance you did back in those cold winter days, and it is Budapest.
Here we go.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
On 93 XRT, we're live from Lollapalooza.